Yo, 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 welcome to the NS9 Postgame Show. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we got for the first time this spring, we got Doug on with us. Doug, how is it going, my guy?
Well, you just watched the same game that I did. It's this is where you remind yourself it's spring training and the results don't matter, and you cling to that mantra. You're hoping that someone's process was working, so they were working on something. Apparently, the Yankees weren't working on anything; they were just hitting the ball all over the field.
No, they were working on how to annihilate a team.
Right.
They passed that test today.
Mid-season form, right?
How do we get over the hump into the playoffs?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Can we just skip this part, right?
Right. No, yeah. I mean, once again, it was just it's been a pretty bad spring so far for the Pirates. And I mean, like you said, it holds true. You know, spring training, I feel stats don't really matter too much per se. You know, I mean, we can go back just to even last year when you saw Jose Quintana. I mean, a lot of us questioned the signing, and after you saw the spring training, you're like, oh boy, this is terrible. And then Jose Quintana,
right?
Jose Quintana.
Although,
so, I mean, I think
his spring training was a little misleading. His first start was bad. His second one was actually good, but Michael Chavis made an error that made it look bad, so everybody wrote it off. He got better each one. You saw progress. I mean, again, I didn't expect that he was going to play pitch as well as he did. But there again, you saw here's a veteran working on stuff, and that's not what we saw today.
No, and you hit it there too. But the thing is too, like out of the veterans is where I'm less leery on them. When it comes to maybe like the younger guys or guys that are battling for a spot, you want to see a little bit more out of them. But so far this spring, it's been pretty bad for pretty much everyone. I mean, they all it seemed like every player has had their moment at some point in time. But like when you look at the overall numbers, averages, just production,
Jose Hernandez has looked good.
Yeah,
Brian Hayes has hit the ball hard a couple times. Swaggerty's actually hit the ball hard. He hasn't, always got hits, but yeah. But right, there hasn't, Holderman looked okay. A couple of the pitchers have looked okay. I mean, Brubaker looked great yesterday.
Yesterday he did.
Yeah. So
and outside that first inning, his first game, he actually
first inning of the first game, right, where he was throwing all changeups or something. Again, he was working on something. So
right.
But yeah. What was 5 strikeouts in a row or 5 outs?
He did. Yeah. I think it was like the last 2 strikeouts in the first, and he struck out the side in the second. Regardless, so it was 5 in a row that we had at one point.
Too excited about that. I can't get too down about Ortiz.
Well, my question to you is, what was Luis Ortiz working on today? Because Luis Ortiz did not look good today. I know he danced around a little bit in the first inning. I mean, he was getting hit scoreless, didn't look too sharp. And then it caught up with him in the second. We didn't even record an out. But I mean, gave up 7 hits today, 5 earned runs.
He got out of that first inning after giving up 3 hits. That was a little lucky. He didn't look great. I listened to a little of the radio, Bob Walk, and said, "Hey, well, at least he's getting exercise." So, because that's about it. I mean, he was just warming up his arm because he didn't do anything particularly well. And then. Wasn't it the first time we saw Selby this year? Came in next, and I don't think I'd seen him yet this spring. And he's another. He's added to the 40-man roster and spin rate, and he's going to surprise, and he's going to be great. And again, 1 outing, big deal. It was Aaron Judge, but I don't know. You'd like to see people get outs.
Yeah, I mean, I want to speak to that though, just a little bit, because I mean, with Colin Selby, there's some intrigue there. I mean, obviously he went to Arizona Fall League and, what he's done as a reliever. So this year, the bullpen can use some help, right? So there's some intrigue with Selby. So when he came into the game, like you said, you're facing Aaron Judge. Here's your tall task, right?
Right.
Literally.
It's a big ask.
Go
right?
face Aaron, guy. And like I said, what I want to say about it is, he attacked him. He went right at him right away. Didn't fear Aaron Judge.
Yeah, he didn't look scared.
It just so happened that he hung one in. Well, Aaron Judge hit 62 of those last year.
Right.
So
yeah, he does that a lot. He's, you're not the first guy. It's what Ricky Henderson said after. I think Ricky Henderson was a 5,000 strikeout victim for Nolan Ryan. And they said, how do you feel about striking out to him? He said, hey, if he ain't struck you out, you ain't played this game, right? so yeah, right. Aaron Judge's home run off. You don't need to hang your head.
No, and that's how I felt. Again, like I liked how he attacked him, gave up the home run. It is what it is, but it does go and give up 2 hits today as well for that home run, 1 strikeout. But yeah, so again, Luis Ortiz though, the one thing we talked with Eric from Fangraphs, right, just this past week, and it's something we brought up, and it's like it's been a concern, right? We talked. He's a 2-pitch guy for the main part, or 4-seam slider. The 4-seam just, it was getting hit hard today. He was just getting hit hard.
They were barreling up
all day long, right? 1 inning. But yeah, for sure. The Yankees were just attacking. They were getting hitting off of him, and it just didn't look good. So, but I do want to say he was throwing the changeup. Like it's a guy like you feel like you want to see a third pitch. That might be his limitation. Although. Again, as like Eric said, those other 2 pitches are so good he can get away with it. But he was incorporating the changeup. I didn't throw it any for strikes.
Right.
But
yeah, I know.
Maybe that's what he was working on.
Right. You see outings like this, and you start saying, okay, was he a flash in the pan? Right. He was the 30th ranked prospect. Nobody was too excited about him. Suddenly he comes up, and nobody can hit him. He has 3 great starts, and then the last start against St. Louis was, terrible. You're like, did he just have one of those little runs, But you're right. He's got, first pitch tonight was 97. He's got velocity. He's got the slider. Clearly he's got to be, his control has got to be pinpoint, because without a third pitch, he can't be fooling around. And if, again, 9-10 games into, it's really early. It's March 7th. So I don't want to overreact to a bad outing against a pretty good hitting team. But he's making a good case for him to not start over Vince Velasquez. Right. It's like, all right, he does, when the Pirates do their, service manipulation, double speak. He needs to work on some things, and we've talked to him. We have a plan for him, and he's now going down. You might not agree with it, but they've got a good argument at this point, right? So.
Well, we won't let Jim hear you see this.
Yeah. I know Jim. Jim was like, he's unbelievable, and after the second inning, I just responded, maybe not. Yeah,
right. I would, of course, love to see him be in the rotation. But, of course, too, I would also love for him to earn it. Like I said, the one thing that Vince Velasquez presents is, if anything, he's someone for people to beat out, right? It's actual true competition. And
I've been saying
if it is a true competition, you can't say Luis Ortiz is doing what he needs to earn that.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing that Cherington has done is brought in depth. And from the start, it's like, we've got 6 guys that could play second base, right? If you count in Triolo, and you have to win this job. And it's same thing with the rotation. There's 8 or 9 guys now that could be in this rotation. Maybe they go with a 6-man. I don't know. But, I've been saying for a while now that I don't expect to see Quinn Priester up until September, unless things go, catastrophically bad, injuries, whatnot. Ortiz is going to be the first one to come, or maybe Oviedo. I'm not sure how. If the 5 starters are Brubaker, Rich Hill, Roanzi, Keller, and Velasquez, the next one up's Oviedo, and he might come from the bullpen or whatever. Then it's going to be Ortiz. Then it would be, maybe at the trade deadline, you move Hill or Velasquez, or maybe you bump somebody to the bullpen, and then you bring up Burrows. I mean, when are you going to get up Quinn Priest? Unless he's, and that's the other good thing. If they're down there killing it, just dominating, or forcing their way onto the major league roster, great. But you said Vince Velasquez brings legitimate competition. So yeah, I'm all for it. Beat them out. Force them to the bullpen. Force them into a trade. Force them off the roster. I don't care. But win the job, right?
Right, and that's why, like, I'm for, if Luis Ortiz doesn't have a good spring, then granted, going down AAA, like, I don't have an argument. And
right.
Of course, if Vince Velasquez is pitching decent, at least better than this, like, I understand it. Again, like, I would want Luis Ortiz to win the job, given that opportunity, even though I don't think he's going to get a chance and be afforded the opportunity to win the job. But I would like that. But again, you can't use this star to argue that. So it is what it is. But whatever, we'll go on to other guy, like you mentioned with Oviedo. He was certainly another one that you're possibly looking into. And we're talking too, like, can he be a starter? Is he just a reliever? Like, what is he? You're probably going to give him every opportunity to be a starter. He did pitch today. He did go 2.1 innings, 3 strikeouts, 1 earned run. But I think the story is a lot of the reasons why you're wondering if he can even be a starter, the 4 walks as well.
Right.
He's definitely got some sincere control issues.
It's he didn't do anything to make me think he has to be in the starting in the first 5, that first week of the season. It's just, again, early, but they need to perform better. If they want to, because like I said, I'm with you. I don't know that it's necessarily a real competition. Both those guys could throw up zeros every spring start. You still think Velasquez is going to be the 5th starter.
Right.
But I sure would like to see them throw up the zeros to force the hand, or at least, give us something good to complain, a legitimate complaint, rather than,
for sure,
than our normal, howling at the moon.
Yep. But that was like one thing this game represented. Of course, it's a good team, the Yankees. It was an actual pretty solid lineup. Right. I know it wasn't like the Yankees weren't in full force tonight, no stand and such. But I mean, it was certainly better than what the Pirates had.
But it was better, yeah.
But it was a solid lineup. And, you have Luis Ortiz starting. Oviedo's going to get in the game. And as we just talked about, those are 2 pitchers you want to see this spring. And again, like, obviously Oviedo pitched better. He looked better than Luis Ortiz did, but it still wasn't what you really wanted to see. Right? It's 4 walks in 2.1 innings. It's kind of the story of Luis Oviedo at this point of his career. But whatevs.
Yeah.
Anything else on Oviedo you want to hit on?
You sort of tell yourself, I'm sorry, what?
No, I was say anything else on Oviedo you want to hit on?
Yeah, I was just saying, it used to be don't trust September baseball, but that was back when they'd call up the entire 40-man roster. So they don't do that anymore. So it wasn't like those starts last year were against, a bunch of AA players. It was mostly major league players, and the Pirates played enough teams in that stretch that were, playing actually to win. So yeah, those were legitimate, decent starts. But yeah, like you said, both these guys have questions, and they did not, answer those questions or give us anything to say, oh yeah, they have to be in the rotation at the start of the season. So,
right. Yep. And just going down the rest of the pitching line, I mean, Crow did come in as well. He pitched an inning, 2 hits, a walk, 2 strikeouts. He looked kind of crowish.
Yeah. That's what he did. And I can live with those results.
Ramirez, 0.2 innings with a hit and a strikeout. And then Webb pitched an inning, scoreless with a 2 strikeouts. I want to speak on this person here. Just a hair. He's not going to do anything this year anyways. But Jared Jones came in the 9th. He pitches scoreless, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Like, I guess just what I want to say is he was wild.
Right.
He threw heat. And dude, like, he was certainly confident on that mound. I mean, he was looking and facing the Yankees, and he said, I want this ball, and I'm going to throw. I mean, it's like just watching him, right? And the way he was throwing, I'm like, okay, I can see this guy being a reliever soon for the Pirates.
Yeah. I mean, he's got some nasty stuff. The ball just comes out of his hand, just sort of explodes out of his hand.
Yeah.
You're right. He didn't look scared. yeah, he's wild, but he's still really young. He's got some time to work on that. It'll be interesting to see this year in Altoona versus being in Greensboro. But yeah, if he could get just a little control, he could. You know, he's another. I mean, his last outing was pretty good, and him and Nicholas have both looked. You know, guys that we've sort of have starting that we're that we've already predetermined will be in the bullpen at some point. But
right,
you know,
yeah.
I thought that.
But yeah, like I said, seeing Jones. Now, granted, the very first pitch was not anything I wanted to see. For those that obviously weren't able to watch the game and such, I don't even know like how that whole thing transpired, because apparently Jared Jones didn't have a pitch comp. So I don't know what he was even getting to throw the pitch that he threw, because clearly Henry Davis called a pitch,
yeah,
which wasn't the heat, but he got the heat, and I mean that just looked dangerous. Granted, Henry Davis caught it, immediately stopped the game and said, "What's going on here?"
He said, whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's when Jared Jones like, I don't have a pitch comp.
Yeah. So yeah, so he threw his best pitch, right?
Right.
Yeah, this is what I got. What else would he be asking for? This is.
But clearly got that fixed up. And then after, like we mentioned, I mean, I don't know. Again, it's spring. I get it, but I kind of liked what I saw from him today. So again, not that I could expect anything from him this year at all, but hey, that was kind of cool. No. I liked it.
But yeah, you like to see. I mean, he looked the part, right? Yeah, he's 2 years away, but he looked the part. I mean, that's I see it with Keller all the time. Confidence matters. You know, Keller, his body language, his demeanor, everything is night and day different than it was when he was struggling. His stuff isn't any better, I don't think. I'm okay, maybe he's got a sixth pitch now or whatever, but I think more than anything now he believes he can do it, and is going out there and executing it. So,
right.
And Jared Jones, I mean, he's got that. And it's not like his results have been great. I mean, he's been. I mean, again, the stuff's been great, but his results, I mean, his control's been bad. He's getting hit. There's no reason he should walk in and feel like he could take on the Yankees. So the fact that he does, I don't know. Hopefully he'll grow into it.
Right. Yep. But hey, again, so going back, Luis Ortiz started off the game. Like you said, this game was over by the second inning. You were done. I think the Pirates are pretty much done as well. Came 5-0 rather quickly, 6-0 rather quickly. But let's go to the offensive side a little bit here. O'Neal Cruz did start off the game. He got on base twice tonight. Shouldn't have.
Right.
Not that we're, but his first time up the bat, he hit a ball, left field, pop up. I mean, he even knew he was out.
Right.
And Aaron Hicks just lost the ball. Because again, it's spring training, and even veterans like Aaron Hicks do things like that.
Right.
So
something about Florida, right?
He just completely misplays it. Ball drops. O'Neal Cruz on base by error. And then going to his next at bat, clearly a strike three that he watched go right by him. And O'Neal Cruz starts walking to the dugout. The Yankees start walking to the dugout, and the ump's like, "Where you guys go?" That's a ball.
Herman was already sitting down. And Cruz had no argument. Yeah, you got me.
Yeah.
But it's spring training for the umpires too.
I guess so. Hey, at least they stayed the whole game today.
Yeah,
kudos to them.
Stayed through the whole top of the ninth, right?
But yeah,
nobody wanted to extend this the bottom of the ninth for this. Everybody was good.
But he does go 0 for 2 technically with a walk, although I think you could argue he went 0 for 3. Right. But on to that side. So you brought up with Domingo Germain. He looked good today. I mean, he was carving up the Pirates. Not that was a tough task, especially this spring, but I mean, he looked pretty good. And again, he is a major league pitcher. I mean, I know he's fighting for like a spot in the rotation, but he is a major league pitcher. Certainly has had a track being a quality major league pitcher. Not a track of being a quality human being, but he's fighting for the rotation for them.
And that lineup's going to score some runs. He does not have to hold people to 1 and 2 runs to have a good start. He can give up 4 or 5, and Aaron Judge will take care of that for him. So,
right.
And that's got to be a nice, our pitchers don't really have that, safety net. It's like, hey, they feel like they got to be pretty on at all times.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Hermain goes, 1, 2, 3 that first inning, second inning, 4, 5, 6. Just sending everyone down. As you talked about with Brian Hayes, he did hit the ball pretty hard, at least today. There was just absolutely no offense at the get-go. So like all the starters, we're talking about Luis Ortiz, Oviedo, guys that you want to see from the pitching side. As far as the guys that you wanted to see on the offensive side, like again, Cruz and Hayes and Choi, nothing from them guys.
Nothing.
Just nothing.
No. Right. Yeah. Nobody. There wasn't a lot of positives to take from this game. Like I said, Cal Mitchell had a hit. Swaggerty had a bloop. Swaggerty made a nice defensive play. We're really reaching. That wasn't a play of the day. It was just a nice catch.
You know what, though, Doug? I told you before this post game, I'm going to give you the floor. I know you love your Swaggerty, so take it. Tell us today about Travis Swaggerty.
Swaggerty, right? He didn't play for 2 years. He came back and he played last year. And he was okay. And he started out slow and he got better as the season went along. But somebody gets hurt and we just want to write him off forever. And I know people weren't thrilled with the pick when we chose him where we did. And then he didn't light it up at single A or whatever. But he's a great defensive outfielder. He's got a great arm. He showed both those things in spring. He's not trying to beat out Dave Parker or Andy Van Slyke. Right. He's trying to beat out. Right. He's trying to beat out Jack Sawinski or Cal Mitchell or Caden Smith and Jigba, or to me, and this was his first start in spring. I don't think he has as many bats as Drew Maggi or Maggi. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that he's had the. I know he hasn't had the at bats that Mitchell and Caden Smith and Jigba have had, and. Why? He's clearly a better defender than either one of them. So right there, he should have a leg up. I know nobody seems to care about defense anymore. The bat will play. Well, sure, but their bat's not playing either. Nobody has separated this, including Travis Swaggerty. I get that. He's another guy that has not grabbed the job. And again, you can't grab the job in 10 spring training games, but he hasn't really done much to set himself apart. But if all things are equal, give me the guy that can play a Gold Glove caliber center field. A guy, we talk about putting, G1 Bay out there. He's not played it a lot. He didn't look great when he played it last year. He looked okay, and it looks like he'll get better. But if Travis Swaggerty is out there again, if Cal Mitchell lights it up and takes the job, I'm all for it. I want someone to win the job, but I want Swaggerty to have the opportunity. I just want him to get a fair opportunity. I don't know why. Again, he didn't play for 2 years, and then he didn't come and light it up. And I guess there was some personal issues as well last year. He's had a rough. He's one of those guys that, the wrong draft class, the pandemic, all these problems. I don't want to give up on him yet. That's all I'm saying. I don't know that he's any better than anybody else. I just don't want to. The kid's got some physical gifts, and I think we could use them. I wish we'd put more emphasis on defense because, again, we don't score a lot of runs. We should be maybe focusing a little on preventing them. Right.
No, that's all fair, and it's like the thing about him, I am down on him. I am. But the thing is, to me, it is a lot of bad luck, but that is what it is. It's like, it's not his fault he lost the season. It's not truly his fault he got injured, but they happened. But it happened. That kind of derailed a lot of his development. And before those things happened, he was starting to slide down that path. It was like, okay, can this year be the year he makes an impact and says, hey, I am a top prospect? Like, he never did that. And then these things that were outside of his circumstances happened, and like you said, then he came back this year, and I recognize he was out for 2 years, but he came back and it was just kind of like, it was okay. But to me, it was more the fact of like how I felt the organization viewed him, because they gave Cal Mitchell his chance. They were going to give, Cannon Smith and Jigba his chance until he got injured. They just simply didn't even give Swagger a chance. They had him call, like he had him in Pittsburgh and said, "We're still not going to put you in."
Yeah, that nine game call up.
That's what spoke the most.
Or was it a 5-game call up with 9 at bats or
5 game? I think yeah.
I think it was 5 games.
2 starts,
I was at the game he got his hit, so maybe I just feel it. And to be honest with you, I didn't think it was a hit. I thought it was an error. So. Right.
But
I mean, bad luck happened. He's not the first player. He's not the only player to be impacted by injury, impacted by the pandemic. He has to overcome it. I mean, that's all I want is that he gets the opportunity. I mean, Cannon Smith and Jigba got hurt last year, and we haven't written him off.
Right.
And he has a skill that very few people in this organization seem to have. He gets on base. And he looks like, I mean, again, he beats the ball down into the ground, but if you could get him and Cabrian Hayes to the same, same instructor, they're about a little bit of lift in that swing. He looks like he could just lace doubles all day long and knock a few out. So I understand. But if we're at spring and the results, at the end of spring, the results are similar for all 3 guys again. I just want him to have if he gets sent down at AAA and has to earn his way on to the 26 man, I have no problem. I just would like to, see him get the chance.
Right.
But,
all in all, though, I think again, what we're coming here to is these are a group of guys that you do want to see some results from. Like I know results don't matter, this stuff, but like you want to see someone take it, right? Again, talk about Cal Mitchell, talk about Swaggerty, Cannon Smith and Jigba. I mean, those are all borderline major league players. But when you're playing for the Pirates, you can make the team. So like which one of those fringy guys can take it? And I guess like in a sense, like you're right. Like I just want to see one of them, and whoever it is, I'm comfortable with.
It's like we've got 4 Anthony Alfords, right?
But it's like they all have their opportunities. They all have a skill they're good at. Many others they're not.
Yeah.
So like this is what matters, like that. And like we talk about like with Bay and Castro, like you would want to see one of them take a stranglehold on second base and run with it. So far, it just seems like everyone on the team right now who is in battles isn't doing anything. So you're sitting here wondering, to date, right now at this point in time, what's going to happen. So, again, you mentioned those Swagger did get a hit. So did Cal Mitchell. Those are 2 guys.
Right.
They did get hits. Swagger did have that really good defensive play in the outfield also. Something you won't hear out of our mouths about Cal Mitchell too often.
No.
But that did happen. And then, Davis came in, got an RBI, a sack.
Yeah,
hit,
I think that's his second sacrifice fly. Yeah.
Yeah. So he gets an RBI today. And then Chavez Young hits a home run. Those are the 2 lone runs by the Pirates.
So yeah, that's our 5th outfielder in the mix of,
which I just realized.
I mean, I guess Sawinski obviously has a leg up, but I kind of don't know. Well, I guess I do know why, but I'm just not convinced that he's going to, can start and produce.
I'm with you. I still, and I think we've talked about this a little bit here, but I still look at him probably more suited as like a 4th outfielder. But again, it's the Pirates. We know Reynolds is there, and you have Kutch who'll play some outfield and such. So I mean, it's not like there's a whole lot of options. And just because he's done it, it was limited. He's done it in the major leagues.
Yeah, but
what he possesses.
What the other guys
has the power.
Yeah, he's hit 19 home runs in the major leagues, while not being able to even it's like he didn't even bring a bat on the road trips. So he just did that at home. So if he could just figure it out a little, we're back to Austin Hedges. If he could hit 163 on the road, he'd be great. But
yeah. But again, so from the offense, not much. Marcano 0 for 3, just looks awful.
Yeah.
Hayes getting 0 for 3. He'd have a hard hit.
That cements your doubts about Ben Cherington. It's Marcano, right? He tried to get him the first time, tried to get him the second time, and other than hitting 2 home runs in his first 2 games up from against the Dodgers or what have you, I haven't seen anything about him that like, why did Ben Cherington want this guy so badly? I mean, he does some things well, but he fits in right
Yeah.
now. He fits in well. He's another guy who
Nah.
strikes out, can't get on base, and doesn't really play any position really well.
Right. Yep. And then, as I mentioned, Choi, he went over 3. He's slowly coming back, right? He didn't start off. I think is
Right.
this his second game of
I
the
think it's only a
season?
second game. He had the
So
error.
over
He
3,
dropped the
2
pop-up in the
strikeouts.
dugout.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is.
But I'm not. Yeah,
Connor Joe over
not
3 and 2
worried.
strikeouts as well today.
I'm not
Connor
worried
Joe
about
looked
any of the veterans
pretty
right now.
silly.
Right. I mean, they
No.
at least have, they understand how to use spring. They understand when to be ready. It's the guys that are in competition for jobs that I like you said. I mean, it's time to start stepping forward.
Yep. So that pretty much wraps up this game. It was, again, not pretty at all. There was not like one person I feel that. I mean, I guess Chavez Young, you could say he did. He shined today. He was the player of the game for the Pirates. His lone at bat, he had a home run, down 9-1, and bat flipped it and pimped it. And I mean, I'm all for it, but like, it was kind of fun. But I mean, is he going to get more opportunities in his lifetime to do that? Probably not. So I'm okay with it.
Night game against the Yankees. Why not have a little fun?
Yeah, you're on the Yes Network. Go pimp that home run, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was basically it, but not pretty for the Pirates. So there's that. So we could probably wrap this up. Anything else that you saw stood out, want to talk about?
No, it was. I mean, it was a terrible spring game. There's no getting around it. Like I said, nobody did anything to distinguish themselves. You're not going to take the results of this game and say, yeah, this is why I should be the starter. So,
right.
We throw it away. The beauty of baseball, we get to play tomorrow.
There it is. Well, if you want any saving grace for today, we talked all the bad news. So the good news is Jim was supposed to go back home today. His flight got all messed up, so he's still stuck in Bradenton. So Jim's day's ruined. So I feel a little bit better about myself now.
Just his, I can't really call them tan lines, but his sunburn lines alone have made my day, and that has overcome this game. It's like, come on, Jim. That happens to an 8-year-old. That does not happen to a grown man.
Right. Well, as Kenny has said, the saving grace is that tomorrow is Tan Line Tuesday. So look out for the NS9 newsletter tomorrow by Kenny. I guess a little sneak peek on Tan Line Tuesday.
Yeah, you guys should definitely subscribe to the newsletter. It's been great. Kenny does a great job with that.
Wow. Look at those words, Kenny. He's the best one here for sure. But let's get out of here. Everyone, appreciate you all for watching.
Tell Kenny we'll to try to fill 30 minutes with positive Pirates talk. Right? It can't be done.
Can't. We'll have to try them. But thanks again for everyone watching. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.